Hi guys, it's Allie. I'm here. Oh, it's been a long day. I just wanted to check in with everybody and again, thank you for the comments last night. I read through every one of them and replied to as many people as I could. So, the topic of this video today is going to be, sorry, I'm completely scatterbrained at the moment. The topic of this video today is going to be about frustration and trust and putting your trust in the wrong people. And oh my gosh, I'm completely 100% guilty of that. So, basically, I've been going through this situation for a couple days now where I've been receiving some dope, and it has been quite cut up and quite low grade, let's just say that. And you know, I've been doing this stuff for 10 years, so it's not exactly hard for me to identify what exactly was in the, you know, the cut that was in the dope. I discovered it to be balsamic vinegar, which will give, you know, the dope the color it needs, and it is also technically vinegar, but it is also freaking salad dressing. And you know, like I said, I'm as clean as I possibly can be, but just the thought of me injecting probably like a 40-80 ratio of like dope to balsamic vinegar worries me a lot, and I don't feel comfortable putting it, you know, injecting it into my body. So, you know, the trust level, well, let me preface. Basically, you know, I have two people. I have a guy that I go to every day, and then I have a backup, who is actually the cousin of the main guy that I go to. And the guy that is my backup texted me earlier today and was like, hey, you know, I've got a new batch of stuff, and, you know, I was, you know, I don't know what that was supposed to imply. I took that as, you know, maybe it's not the same shit he had before, which was like balsamic vinegary crap. And so, you know, but then my other people had also read up. And so I had gone through them in a few days, and I was like, okay, you know what? It'll be easier as far as, like, you know, where I'm at to just, you know, as far as, like, me getting home early and you know, after I made my money, I was like, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and go to my normal people. You know, they don't have that crap anymore. They said they got a new batch, so I'm going to go ahead and just trust that it can't possibly be the same shit, right? It was. I get home. I had tried to smell it before I bought it, and I was like, I can't really, you know, I can judge pretty well off that, but I was like, you know, smell it. It smells okay. And it certainly didn't smell like the previous batch where which just reeked of balsamic vinegar. So I was like, okay. I get home, you know, I fix myself some dinner, I relax, I make sure my animals are taken care of, and then as I'm going to make my shot, oh, by the way, if you're uncomfortable with any of this, feel free to skip forward in the video. As I've said in my other videos, this channel is very drug-centric, and I'm sure it'll get demonetized if it has, and I'm sure all my videos will be, but you know what, it's something not a lot of people talk about, and I'm going to talk about it. I have an ongoing addiction to heroin, and I'm going to put it out there, you know, the kind of stuff that nobody would normally talk about. So I go home, like I said, and I do what I need to do, and I'm sitting there and I'm making my shot, and as soon as I put the piece of dope in the spoon and put water on it, I noticed that it started to break out in a very similar fashion to the sorry, I had a forehead itch. It started to break out in a very similar fashion to the batch 4 that had the balsamic vinegar in it. So I just completely went nuts. You know, I just freaked out, you know, and it's like, what am I supposed to do? I spent my money. I was just so disappointed, and I'm also kicking myself in the ass because I'm like, oh man, maybe if I just would have gone through the other dude, you know, he said he had gotten a new batch too. Maybe his would not have had balsamic vinegar in it. Maybe he actually had the decent shit this time. So, you know, I have to make a decision tomorrow, and I think the decision is going to be that once I make my money, God willing, I'm just going to have to, as much as it's a pain in the ass, and my backup guy lives in a not so savory area of Dallas, I'm going to have to just have him meet me and try out his shit tomorrow, because I can't keep doing this balsamic vinegar crap dope. I just can't do it. It's, $60 to $70 a day is usually what I spend on my habit, and I am just, yeah, I might as well wipe my ass with that money. I feel like it's just, is it keeping me well, like not sick? Yeah. Luckily I also had purchased 2 or 3 Xanax bars today, just in case, maybe even if it was a different batch, and just in case it wasn't that good, I had something to kind of like take the edge off and still make it so I could go out and smoke a cigarette and make it so I could be comfortable. So if I tell you, as soon as I, mixed up my dope and took my finger and smelled it and smelled that balsamic vinegar again, I just literally broke into tears. I was so upset. And I know all this stuff is out of my control, and it's like, hey, charge it to the game, blah, blah, blah. I hear that stuff all the time. And yeah, I get that, but it just, I had sent a message to my main dealer the night before, and I had said, look, dude, I don't know who you're getting your stuff from, but please, whatever it is, just please just, I know, because my main guy, he doesn't do dope, so he relies on the feedback from customers, especially one that is, that has been loyal to him and going through him for 7 years, like I have, to get his feedback on what the dope is like, and if it's good or not. And I straight up told him, yesterday, right after he had gotten the new batch, I was like, man, I hope it's not that same stuff. I hope it's not the same stuff that has that balsamic vinegar in it. And the text I got back was just like an, oh my god, ... So I was like, look, dude, hey, I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying, I hope it's not. So, but honestly, when he sent me that text message that said, oh my god, ... I was like, if I had to bet, if I'm, I'm not a betting woman, but if I had to bet, it's gonna be the same shit. So I just feel like no matter what I do, I just keep getting fucked over. And, excuse my language, but I just keep getting fucked over. And, this is my last month that I'm going to be able to do dope. I'm going to be able to still smoke weed and do bars, which I don't do that often. I do them when I'm in a very, like now, very anxious, very emotional state, and have been not feeling well for the past couple of days on and off because, like I said, the dope wasn't that good. So, yeah, sometimes I do take bars. And, even the bars, it's like, I've been doing benzos on and on for almost as long as I've been doing brown. So, I take breaks, huge breaks. Like, I'll go 3 weeks without doing any bars. So when I do get them, I don't have to buy 6 or 7. I can only buy like 1 or 2, and it'll hit me. It'll work on me. So, thank God I bought those bars, because I'm having them. Even though I did freak out when I realized it was the same dope, I am not nearly as anxiety riddled, and I'm not nearly as just ready to pop off and ready to say some shit that I know I'm gonna regret to my dealer. Like, man, what am I supposed to do? This shit isn't working for me, and blah, blah, and, I mean, it is, but it isn't, but, all I'm gonna get met with if I send those text messages is, like, hey, even though I'm trying to tell you, that this shit isn't that good, and, I warned you beforehand, like, please try and get it from somebody else, it's just gonna end up in an argument, because, he doesn't understand. He doesn't understand how much getting a bad batch of dope impacts somebody like me, and the other people that he sells to impacts their life. I'm sure I'm not the only person who's complained. I mean, come on, I can't be. It's. So anyway, I had a much better day today, much calmer day, even though that happened. I'm gonna try to go through my other guy tomorrow, and hopefully it's going to be different stuff. It's gonna be better stuff. It's gonna take me a little longer to get it. It might be a catastrophe just trying to get all that in order and have him meet me, blah, blah, but man, it's worth it if I don't have to do this crack again. So, yeah, I got home relatively early. I was able to, you know, motivate myself to clean up and, you know, catch up on some things, which was nice. But, oh man, I was so disappointed. So, it's like the same thing. It's like when you get dope and you can tell it's being like cup of coffee or something that just, it's like, why? Or like black crayon. It's like, why, man? Why? It just, yeah, and you don't know what that cut is doing to the quality of the dope. You could have great dope and cut it with something like balsamic vinegar or black crayon or mascara, and it just completely ruins it. The ability to shoot the dope. It'll clog your needles. It's just, it's just one. It's like, I feel like if it's not one thing, it's another. So but besides that, I'm calm. I'm not sick. I feel pretty good. Usually I do my night shot at around like 7:38. I try to push it as late as I can so I can sleep well. So I've got that made up. I'll do that probably around 7:30, 7:45 after I'm done with this video. And just hope I have enough in the morning to keep myself well, because that's the part that really gets me, is that tomorrow I've got to wake up and do this shit, and of course it's not as much as the shots I do when I get home at night, where I want to get high and indulge. So what I have in the morning is just like a shot that will get up, or I can get up, do it, and get me well, and I can go do what I need to do during the day to make money and whatever. So I'm just at this point where I'm so over it. I'm tired. And it's almost the end of December. And I'm just trying, like I said, I'm just trying to enjoy my last month that I can do dope before I just have to strictly go back to using, benzos once in a while and then strictly smoking weed. And what I mean by that is I have a criminal case pending, and I'm going into one of those like drug court programs. So like I said to my mom, if I'm not, if I can't figure out a way to get off this shit by the end of the month, I'm just gonna go check myself in somewhere for. Here in Texas, we have like a state-funded place called Homeward Bound. That and they usually keep you for about 5 to 7 days. And so I said to my mom, if I can't get off it by the end of the month, I'm just gonna go check myself in there, and that way I'll be off of it in time for my court date in January, because I don't think I'm gonna get another continuance. So do everything I can not to go back to prison. I definitely don't want to go through that again. I did almost a year on my first stint in prison, so I'm not, especially, with my arm amputated, I don't know what the protocol is in prison. Like, do they put you with everybody else even though you have a natural disadvantage, or do they like put you somewhere in a hospital unit? I don't know, and I don't want to know. My goal is definitely not to go back. So I'm still waiting to hear whether I'm being approved for my disability, and hopefully that kicks in, because that's what I was going to use to pay for my probation and drug court. So other than that, I have a job lined up in case I get denied, but that's not, I'm not going to be making enough through that to pay for probation, and it's just gonna be tight, and I don't want to give them money and commit myself to this and then just wind up back in prison anyway. Get revoked on probation or drug court and then wind up back in prison anyway. Like, I don't want to get it down that road again. So yeah, if any of you guys have any advice, I got some wonderful comments, like I said in my video yesterday, from some people. At this point, methadone maintenance is pretty much out of the question. I have called a few in the past week, and it would just be a huge year-long process. The idea here is in these facilities, as they start you off at a very high dose, and then they want to taper you down from that until you're eventually off of it. But it's, you have to commit to doing the taper for like a year. You know, it's just not the route that I want to go down. I can't afford to pay $50 a day and show up at 6 o'clock in the morning to a facility to take a dose of methadone. And it's just, my mom has explicitly reminded me that we've been down the road before, and she is certainly not. Certainly shouldn't have to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and pay $50 a day. We just don't have it, and pay $50 a day to go to the freaking methadone clinics, which I personally think are a bit of a racket. Maybe that's just in Texas, but it's just one of those things. So, it's through the years, it's been a lot of trial and error. There are other places I can go. They do it by county, and since I live in Plano, trying to go to Dallas, trying to go to Homeward Bound, which is in Dallas, it's like a whole county thing, and having to get approved by North Star, which is like drug addicts insurance here in Texas, which I don't even know if it's still going on. I don't even know if they still have that. But in the past, that's how I had gotten approved before to go there. So it's you just feel like you're backed into a corner. You just feel like there's not enough help. There's not enough people who care enough to just let you get done what you need to get done. Just let you, just take me in. Even if it's, of course, what I mean is like a state-funded place. Just take me in. Let me do my 7 days. Put me on some medication so I can at least just sleep, get through it, and then, anything residual after that, I can just try and manage at home. But I've also got to get the staples out on my shoulder. I still have staples in for my surgery for my arm. I've got to get go get those taken out. I don't want that to get infected. So just trying to find a day off just to go do that is difficult, So I'm just, if y'all have any advice for me, I'm probably sounding a little bit more down than usual. I'm trying to stay as calm as I can. What else? I had a pretty good day today. Like I said, my habit every day is usually about $60 to $70. And that's, I've been at points in my life where I was only doing about a half a gram, which is like $40, $50 a day. And oh my God. It doesn't sound like a lot, but man, that sickness is no joke, man. I've seen people who are only doing 20s a day, and they still, I had a roommate last time I went to Homeward Bound. She was only doing 20 a day, and man, she was sicker than I was. It was incredible. I'm just severely frustrated. I posted my video last night of my cat. It doesn't have any views yet, but if y'all want to watch that, it's definitely something that'll put a smile on your face. She's so silly. I love that. I love that cat so much. My cat. She's just a dream. She's my best friend. To be honest. Like I said in my last video, if I'm being honest, I don't have that many friends. I'm friends with a couple of my exes. I have a couple of people I see when I go to make money that I'm friends with. Like, good people, they are addicts, but they don't do the same kind of drugs that I do. So, not like that matters. I'm just saying, I have a small collection of friends, but maybe I should say acquaintances, because if I had to rely on them in a pinch, I don't think I could really count on them for that much. So you try and help each other as much as you can, but they're also in a shitty position in their lives too. So I just want to emphasize that I am extremely lucky to not be on the street. I'm extremely lucky to have the kind of parents that I do. Um, you know, they're in not therapy, but they go to Naranon every Wednesday, which is in my last video I talked about house sitting for my parents every Wednesday. Well, it's because they go to Naranon, which is like for the families of drug addicted kids or drug addicted spouses and whatever. So at least they have support. They have a whole support system, whole network of friends there, and I'm grateful that they have that because I know the past 6-7 years have been really hard for them. Just it's been hard for me, but like I said last night, addiction is so selfish, and they've just gone above and beyond. So I'm so thankful for that. I really try to not ever take anything for granted as far as what I may not have that much, but what I do have I am grateful for. So it's just one of those things. I feel like I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. But like I said, I'm always going to be honest with you guys. I feel like this is a place that I can come to and just spill my guts and be honest, and that's it'd be really helpful to hear y'all's stories. Just leave me a comment, let me know. I'll feature your story, or you can come on and my channel, tell your story. I love hearing about people's success stories. The comments that I get, where they say, well, I've been off it for 7 years, you can do it, you just keep pushing. Man, I wish I was in that position. I wish that I hope that one day I'll be able to say that, oh, well, I got off of it, you can too, I'm just not in that position right now, as much as I hate to stereotype or put myself in a box or compare myself to other people, I have noticed that I am definitely a more hardcore heroin addict than a lot of the other people that I know. Even my exes, who are also pretty hardcore addicts, I'm just right up there. I put myself in that category of, it's definitely something that I wouldn't say I'm self-medicating with. I've never really believed. I do believe that there are people out there who do self-medicate with drugs, but I can't really say I'm doing it to mask, some personal dramas, or, I do it because I like it. I do it because that's become my norm now, that feeling, that's become my lifestyle. So, as horrible as that sounds, that's what it is. That's what it's turned into. I'm a person who's based on ritual. So I do the same things every day. I expect to pick up the same day, the same way every day. I expect to be able to get home in a decent time. I expect to be able to, finally at some point in the day just be able to relax, because my days usually do not consist of a lot of that. And, I can't really say I have anybody else but myself to blame for that. So, oh, and another thing, nobody brought this up to me, but I know I'm probably going to get asked at some point if I've tried Suboxone. I have been on, there was a point where my parents had paid a whole bunch of money for me at one point to go to this private doctor. He was a Suboxone doctor. He, the initial meeting and consultation or whatever it was with him was like almost $400, and so he put me on, or he gave me the prescription for Suboxone. It was the 8 milligram strips, and I was like, okay, that's it. I'm done with heroin. I'm gonna go to I had a boyfriend at the time I was living with. I was like, I'm gonna go there, buckle down, follow the instructions, take them like I'm supposed to, and just get off this shit. And for some reason, I followed those instructions to a T, and for some reason, I was deathly ill. I just, I waited the necessary 24 hours before because you have to be in 24 hours of full-blown withdrawal before you start taking them, and I followed it to a T, and I was miserable. I ended up selling, it was like almost $180 with a discount coupon to get those Suboxone. and I ended up selling it for a gram of heroin. You know, I have so many people I know who will buy Suboxone strips, and I ended up just selling them for dope. I felt like I had given it my fair shot. 3 days of trying and taking extra. I was like, maybe I'm just not taking enough of them or whatever, but I reread the instructions, and I was like, no, dude, I'm following this to a T. I don't know why it's not working on me. So, and like I said, I've been on methadone maintenance, been on Suboxone maintenance, and I just, to me, it's like, what's the difference? If you're on Suboxone maintenance, or methadone maintenance, you still have to take something every day just to stay well. So to me, it's like, yeah, I know there's programs set up to help you taper or whatever the fine print is on that, but it's the same. It's, all of that shit sounds the same to me. All of it's about money, and all of it's about, having to do something every day just so you don't get sick. And I don't want to be in that position anymore. If and when, well, not if, when the time comes for me to quit, it's got to be an all or nothing thing. It's got to be, I'm enjoying my last month here, but come my court date in January, I have to be off everything. So, it's going to be difficult, and I'm just hoping everything, if and when I have to, sign up or get myself into Homeward Bound, I hope everything goes well with that, because it's a first come, first served basis for beds there, and they always have a list. They always have a waiting list, so, then you gotta go out and buy dope and stay well in the meantime till the bed opens up, and it's just, oh my God. It's an all-day process, just to get in, get a bed, dress you out, search your stuff. So, and I've been through it 1,000 times. I know they've changed their policies in the last year, so I'm hoping that I can still get in. Because other than that, there's very few other places that I think I'd get accepted in, and I think that I think would maybe take me, maybe not. I don't know. So anyway, not to be completely negative here. I hope you all watched Gigi's video that I posted last night. It's so funny. It's so cute. I'm wondering whether I maybe should have posted it or not, because I sound like a total idiot, baby talking my cat, but she really is cute. She's a light in my life. It's the little things, and she's definitely like my child. So, anyway, besides that, it's a pretty normal day. Luckily, I'm not sick. I don't feel 100%, but at least I was able to go out and smoke a cigarette, because I certainly wasn't able to do that, the last day or two, because I just did not feel 100%. It's like I was barely not sick. So, yeah, it's been hectic. I'm hoping I can make enough money when it gets closer to Christmas to buy my mother and father a Christmas present. The fact that they're not expecting anything from me, that makes me sad. I'm sure they think that whatever money I come by, I'm going to spend on pills, and to a certain extent that's true. But I really would love to find a way to be able to at least get them a card or get them something, just to prove that, like, hey, I'm trying here. It's not for me. It's just to show them that, I do care, and I do appreciate what they do for me. So, anyway, I don't want to ramble, but, what else? I did have a few things I wanted to say. I will be posting a video tomorrow. It might only be about, another, 8-minute video, just to kind of check in. But, yeah, subscribe, like the video. Honestly, I don't really care too much about likes. I've yet to see what that does. I think people just ask for that because, maybe there's something I'm not aware of as far as what likes do for your videos, but, it'd be nice if you guys could find it in your heart to subscribe. That'd be cool. But if not, then it is what it is. So, anyway, guys, thanks for listening. I hope you all have a great day. I hope you all are having a good holiday so far. Yeah, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow.